Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on the interwebs right now. Let's just talk about some weird stuff. Because it kind of applies to guns, but kind of doesn't. Okay. So if you've noticed that hurricane, the hurricane that hit North Carolina and Tennessee, I think it's Helene or Harleen, whatever the hell, however you say that name, which makes no sense. That hurricane names are always hard to say, but this one particularly. One of the things that's been going around, and I'm kind of a little shocked and a little pissed off at people, is they're saying that this was man-made. Okay. Now, there's a couple reasons why I have a problem with this. Can we make man-made hurricanes? Absolutely. I absolutely believe we have the technology to do it. The question I have here is, what would be the benefit of either side right now hitting the United States, if the president did it, if the federal government did it, hitting the United States with a hurricane during an election season? Okay, this is where I'm really getting tired of seeing these misinformation things, because it makes no sense at all. It doesn't do any good for our side. Other than we know that our government is completely incompetent, which we knew that to begin with because, well, we've lived through COVID. We've lived through what we've seen these people do. It's not a huge stretch to think that we shouldn't trust our federal government. So fast forward. What's the current issue that's going on here? Well, they have not delivered on any of the aid that needs to go to these American citizens that have been affected by this hurricane. You're seeing aid being turned around by the federal government. You're seeing aid stations being destroyed by black helicopters. You're seeing this in stunning real life, the same lessons that we have learned from Katrina, or we thought we did, happen again, which means that our federal government learned nothing from the hurricane. Now, from Hurricane Katrina. Now think about this. Hurricane Katrina should have cost President Bush his election bid, or should have cost him his job in a number of ways because of the way it was handled for Katrina. Towards the end, basically you have to put it up to state government not putting up or asking for help when they need it. I don't think that was the case with North Carolina and Tennessee this time. They asked for help in plenty of time. The federal government, being who they are right now and who is in charge of them right now, sucks. There is no reason why we should trust the federal government at all. And this is case in point. Look at what's going on. You know, if you are, how do I put this? If you think that the federal government is going to defend you, protect you in any way, shape, or form during an event, a black swan event like a hurricane or a financial meltdown, or hell, and even an invasion of the United States, you are sadly mistaken. There is one person that's going to take care of you, and that's you and your family and God. There is no way the federal government is going to do this. The federal government has proven time and time again that they are pointless. If you cannot see that, you have not been paying attention for at least the last 5 years. Look at COVID. What happened with COVID? It was eventually the fact that Americans got tired of being locked down, that they had to remove that restriction on us. And when we finally realized that it was a really bad cold, it was a really bad flu, it sucks. And yeah, it probably did take some lives, but it wasn't something that should have shut down our country. But that showed the federal government that they had the power, or that American people would cede power that they have to the federal government when something scary happened. You go to Katrina. Katrina, they locked thousands of people into a stadium while the hurricane hit. And it took weeks, if not months, to take care of those people when we knew that there was something bad happening there. it seems to be in the South that this is a normal thing that hurricanes hit. But it also seems that the federal government can't help them and will not help them, whether it's Louisiana or North Carolina or Tennessee. And while that looks bad from the political stance, because those are Republican strongholds, to think that the federal government has the stroke or the capability of messing up or, causing a hurricane doesn't make a lot of sense, especially in this election cycle. It's going to be decided by a razor-thin margin anyway, the election is. So why would you put your party in play? Because if this is ever found out that it is 100% the Democrats that did it, they're going to lose. But also, what benefit does it get? Because it's showing that you have no capability of responding to a national emergency, and your party is the party that's in power right now. If you were going to show how great the American people are, or how great the American country is, they had the opportunity right there with this hurricane. There's a lot of people that donated money, donated time, donated anything they could, supplies, resources, to help our fellow Americans, and it's not getting to the people like it should. If you wanted to highlight how great you really were as a candidate, now's the time to show up and shine, and that's not happening. So that's why I really, really am kind of tired of seeing people say that this is something that our federal government would do. Could they? Absolutely. Would they? Absolutely. Is this particular one something that the federal government did? No, because there's already too many things going on in this election cycle that's making them look like idiots. They need no more help. So this would be a bad plan. But it also makes us look like lunatics. I'm seeing more and more on my side of the aisle these idiots saying that this is man-made and that this was all preventable and that men were doing this to cause this issue because it's going to affect the election in a bad way. In reality, what it should do is it should show the American people, the voters, that if you're voting for the current people in power, you're voting for the wrong ones. And that's basically all I have to say, is we need to really, really start policing our own people, because we're starting to look like idiots. And that's a bad thing, especially on this federal stage or the national stage, where they already think of us as redneck yokels. And to think that something this conspiratorial, this is on par with people thinking that the Kraken bull crap happened in Germany and that there were special forces that were going there to get a server. If you have any clue, one, about what it takes to get a server, to get data off of a server, or how data traverses a network, you would have known that any of that bull crap that came up during the last election about the Kraken stuff was all smoke and mirrors. It was probably put out to make us look like idiots. So can we take a lesson from that and say, hold up, this isn't a thing? And maybe we can look and reevaluate what the hell happened. And better thing is, why don't we do something to help our people? Like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, be great.